Welcome everybody to another video. Again, covering the Riders of Rohan. In this video, I'm going to go over how I painted the details and finished out all these riders. So we already have the horses painted, and there's a video up in the corner you can click on to see how I painted the horses. But now all the details. So we're going to start off with all those leather bits and straps and stuff. So I used contrast snakebite leather. You can use, again, we're going to be going over just a lot of browns and stuff, so you pick the one you like. I like this one. It's a yellowy brown leather color. Since on this horse and on the darker ones, the darker brown and black ones that you may paint, you don't have to be as careful because any of the snakebite leather that gets on the skin, it's not going to be noticeable and just kind of blends in. Now when you are painting any of the light colored horses that we painted with the apothecary white, you'll definitely need to be careful on that, or more careful. So got all the leather straps. Remember, there's that one underneath holding the saddle on there. And he had some of the different models. He has a belt. Some of them have a strap going across their chest. And then I used Gorgunta fur, which is a reddish brown, for the boots. And there is a gold strap at the top. I just painted the whole thing. And the metallic gold paint will cover that quite sufficiently. So we're gonna have the boots. I also paint the helmets, but I forget, to do it right now. So I think when I later in this project, I remember that and I go back. And for the helmets, I like this red color. So if you remember it, you can do that. Also the sleeves or leather like arm, I think they're called gaiters. I know in like World War II they had like gaiters that covered their ankles and stuff, so kind of odd name. I'm sure it has some wonderful origin story, but I don't know it. So just again, this is just going to be painting different browns and such, so and it doesn't have to be completely uniform across your army. Some of them can be mixed up. All right, so for the bow, I use Agaros dunes, and to me, bows seem like it'd be a softer wood. I don't know anything about different types of lumber and wood and stuff here, but I figure, it needs to bend, so it'd be a lighter color. So I use Agaros dunes. Also for the quiver bag that they have on the back of the rider, I use the same color. Like this is a great example. This could be snakebite leather as well on one or all or some of your models. So yeah, just finishing up that bag. And then there's like, if you look on the GW site, just going over the bow a little more there, darkening it up with the second coat. They have like a undercoat, they have the green robes, but then they have like a undercoat that you can kind of see, again, just trying to break up the model a little more. So I use the same color Agaros dunes. And then we go to their outer, it's not a cape, it's like a robe. Not a robe, what is it? It's a tunic. There we go. Their outer tunic. And I use one of my favorite contrast greens, Militarum green. So just going over all that. One of the other details, I probably painted it when I was painting the fur and the tail and the manes, was the saddles. I noticed They're already painted here. So that's just a black Templar color for the saddles, as well as the scabbard for the sword. And also the pants. There's a little bit of the pant legs showing, so I also painted that black as well. Here I am trying to get as close to out of frame as possible without being completely out of frame. And then the shields. If you look on their site, the shields are not uniform. There's lots of different colors and colored patterns. I kind of took the easy way out and painted them green and then like ivory trim, and then with the gold centerpiece. So this would be the point where I just get that to include. Make sure you get the back of the shield as well. It's fairly visible, so either you want to paint it green, or I think the whole thing would be green, but you can paint it its natural color of brown. And it sometimes on some of these models it's hard to figure out what was robe versus their undercoat or their sleeves. You just kind of get them in there. Here's where I went back and got the helmet. There's also several different helmet designs, patterns. So they have, some of them are all metallic gold, some have just the gold trim and stuff. So just kind of look at that and see how you'd like to paint that. Gotta paint the horse mouth. So go with Blood Angels Red. And make sure to get the roof of the mouth. A lot of them have like their tongue hanging out because they've been galloping through Middle Earth, so they're kind of wore out. And then just want to paint the base. My base is, I just used white glue and sand. Different. I use a couple of different sizes of sand just to make it look a little, uneven, broken up. But just use dark umber from Pro Acryl. That's kind of my go-to dirt color. We're going to end up putting a wash over everything to include this. So, and then a little bit of a dry brush. So just get in there and get this all painted. I paint the rim different. That'll be one of the last steps. And just to kind of set it off, as well as some other little basing things. But that's at the end, and we'll get to that in a moment. You can also, just a little tip, really water it down, which it stretches the paint a little more, but it's easier to get it in all those recesses. Then I use Nasdreg Yellow for the hair. And I did this with all my riders, and I know in the movie and such, they have different colors, but you know what? I didn't want to paint, browns and, different black hair. There's enough brown and black on this model, so they're all just going to have this blonde, dirty blonde hair. And it's bright enough that when you paint their sweet mustaches and beards, it'll set out or pop out from the rest of the model. And then there's a little bit of flesh, their hands and their face. So I use Gilliman flesh, and just kind of get it on there. I think when I'm painting his face, it really like sets in there. It's really flooded. So let's see here. And then you just, have another brush ready to kind of soak up. I think, yeah, and his eye is just real full. So you just go back and kind of daub that out. I'm hitting, there's a little bit of gold trim around the top of some of the boots. Some of them have like a really narrow band, so I didn't paint those. But on these wider ones, from the pictures I saw, it looked like they had that gold trim right there at the end of the scabbard, as well as the handle of the sword, the long sword there. Then there's going to be the trim on the helmets. They all have some sort of armor metal part, so you want to hit that. And I don't think this model had it, but some of them have like a gold latch on their tunic on the front, or a little symbol or emblem. So look for that. There's these two little side flaps on the helmet. I paint those silver just to kind of, they just seem different. I don't know. And of course the center part of the shield, we'll get to that. And the different shields have different little, I think most of them, yeah, have this little dome semicircle that I did show on film there. Now I just go back with the silver for like the chest armor. There's a lot of buckles and silver loops around the straps on the saddle, the bridle, and all that. I did not go back and paint all those details, but just the main areas. Again, the horse's head armor and the chest armor on the rider, and then also on the helmet, those little face guards. But these were, you could paint these pretty quick. There's not a lot of small details. And there you can see on the shield there, I also painted the starburst pattern with ivory, just a standard ivory. So now I'm just going over the whole thing with Nuln Oil. I do this because shadows, for the most part, are dark. They're black and not just a darker version of the color of the cloth and stuff. So I like this. I think it sets out the details a little better. You can work in the shadows a little better, and just, I think it gives it an overall nice appearance. There's a lot of flat areas here where the wash will pull up that you probably don't want it, so you may want to have another right here. Yeah, in the face. This is the area that's like it just flooded there. So grab another brush, kind of have it handy, and just kind of wick that away. So now just dry brushing lightly the base, and you're gonna see we're gonna put a little flocking, and then on some of these bases there's extra holes for the different models that set in there. And I'm just gonna, I take the easy way out and just put a little grass tuft in those. So we're almost done here. Just a light dry brush just to kind of break it up a little bit. And then for the flocking, I'm of the mindset less is more. So I just kind of randomly put little dots of super glue on the base, and then I have a mix here of just some green and yellow flock. It's not too bright, I like it. It's very general purpose. I can't remember the brand, but just whatever brand, maybe your hobby store or whatever you can get ordered in. And then I just grab one of these grass tufts, even though they're supposed to be self-adhesive. I put a little glue on that. I find this one may not have had the extra hole in the base, so I just put one on there just to, again, break it up. And then the final thing to paint the base, I use mahogany for all the forces of good, and it just kind of sets the model apart from the playmat that you'll be on, and I think it just adds a nice look. And I don't show it here, but I usually go back with 2 coats because it just makes it look nice. So here we go. Here's a couple of those Riders of Rohan. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or contact me on social media. And be looking forward to the next video. I think we're doing the Troll of Mordor. So get your models and paints out and enjoy this time. Thank you.